I really need to do something in the base. I've got this basically this handmade. Handmade makes it sound fancy, but it's actually a piece of wood
Sure.
with legs. It's about a little bit deeper than my MacBook. That's about it, and it's super tiny, but it works perfectly for this. I'd like to work down here more, but the PS4 is down here too, so I always, it's not the best environment for working with a PS4 going with Call of Duty, running in the
No.
background.
Yeah, that's what I got for this. Is obviously in the spare room because I wanted a smaller desk so I could have the desk, the TV, and then the bookcase, and then I can stick all the controllers on the wall in the corner.
Yeah, I saw that picture
I
on
think you
Twitter. That was
probably
pretty
saw the
cool.
photo.
That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's a company in the US that actually sell these hooks.
Oh.
But like, it was really expensive for me to even get like 4 of them. But they also have instructions on their website to make your own.
How do they hook? What's special about the hook?
Nothing really. It's just like they have instructions how to make them because it's you've got copper wire and then like a plastic like PVC tube over the top.
Oh, okay.
And then you bend it round like a plumbing T-junction kind of thing.
Yep.
And then they just clip on the wall with a normal cable clip. And they've come out really well.
No, that's cool. Yeah, it's I work in all different places, and yesterday I was writing in bed, and which is perfect for when you're like, I think I'll just take a nap right now, which I did.
So we've got a little bit of follow-up. We spoke about Recore last episode, which is this Xbox One exclusive game. I was pretty excited. All the reviews, I knew that the review embargo was at, I think it was 3 o'clock the other day. All the reviews came out, and it's not good.
Is it bad or is it just mediocre? I haven't looked at any of this stuff.
I'm going to wait until it's about £10 and then I'll buy it.
Oh, that's too bad.
There's some like really long loading times, like 2.5 minute loading times when you die.
Oh wow.
Which hopefully they can fix that in an update. But there's just there's a lot of bugs with it. It seems like it's kind of been rushed out, and the story is not great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kind of interested to play it because I kind of like the look of it, but I'm definitely going to wait until it drops in price a little bit.
Yeah, the artwork looks really nice. I mean, I wonder if how that game just kind of came on without a lot of fanfare in advance was really kind of a tell, because either they were, rushing development, they were uptight against deadlines, and the game wasn't working, and they finally like, okay, ship it, or how that worked out.
Yeah, I get the impression there was a couple of people, I think it was on Reddit, claiming that they worked for Microsoft Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently this was rushed out to come out around now because Xbox didn't have any other exclusives coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of wanted to make sure they had an exclusive, I guess, to go up against the likes of, No Man's Sky. I mean, it's really not in the same ballpark at all, but
yeah, it doesn't sound like
that's how they are.
Interesting. Well, that's too bad. That's disappointing. But there will always be more games, Rob. Always be more.
I haven't played the ones I've got, so it's not really a problem that I'm not buying this one.
I know. Well, we should talk about Bluetooth, right? And Bluetooth headphones, because you're going to dive into the AirPods, you told me.
Yeah, I'm definitely considering it. I think either the AirPods or the Beats X.
Okay.
I think were the ones with the.
Are those the wireless
ones,
or I guess they're all wireless, but are those over the ear or in the ear?
They're in the ear. They're the ones with the wire between the two.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't quite decided yet. I think I'll maybe want to see some more reviews and see some more opinions on them. I mean, they're about the same price, but really what I'm interested in is the W1 chip, so that it just kind of pairs and is done.
Yep.
Because like even the other day, I've got some speakers hooked up to my TV in my spare room, and they've got Bluetooth, so I connected my phone, just while I was doing some stuff up here, and then I had to turn the speakers off to move them, turn them back on, and now I cannot pair with them at all, even if I forget the device and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
really?
I was kind of like, yeah, this is how bad like Bluetooth is. It just kind of really frustrating.
Yeah, it is pretty bad.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I am concerned with the AirPods, like just because if I knock them and they do fall out, like they're pretty tiny. But I kind of do like the idea of just having these two little earbuds and that's it.
Yep. No, I agree. I think Beats is coming out with 3 different models, right? They're doing over the ear, they're doing Power Beats 3, and then I guess the X1 is what you said you were looking at too. Is that the third one?
Yeah, I think they're called Beats X.
Oh, Beats
I think
X,
is the model.
Yeah.
And I think they're like maybe $10 cheaper than the AirPods. But mostly the same thing. But the Beats X do have the audio controls on them as well.
Yep.
On the wire. So that's kind of another thing that as much as I've got the watch, or I can get my phone out, the watch is a bit weird at the moment because it's just changed, and like now playing's a bit difficult to get to. So yeah, I think I'm gonna see, because they're both not out for like another month yet anyway.
Right. No, I'm definitely gonna get AirPods. I think. I have been using, as you know, I've talked about it here a bunch of times. I've been using Bluetooth headphones for quite a while and really couldn't go back. I mean, that's the one. If you're concerned about not, I guess the problem is it spoils you, because even if there are hassles with Bluetooth headphones, the freedom from wires is huge, and I would never go back. The W1 chip really excites me because, for instance, like, especially even if it only really works well with my Mac gear, because it syncs the credentials, or the pairing credentials via iCloud. I think that'll be enough for me, because there have been plenty of times where, say I'm on the train and I'm listening to something on my phone, and I pull out my iPad and I'm looking at some things on the web and I want to watch a YouTube video. It's not easy to switch from my phone to my iPad. If really the only good way to do it is to turn off Bluetooth on my phone and then go into settings and pair with the iPad.
Yeah, I mean I've had similar problems. I've got 2 of these little like mini Bluetooth speakers in the house, and like one is upstairs and one's downstairs in the kitchen, and I can connect to the one in the kitchen, but then if I leave the house but leave the speaker on and come back, it won't connect again, and I have to turn the speaker off and turn it back on. Maybe I have to toggle Bluetooth a couple of times. Like it's really just a bit of a pain, really. I mean, obviously I know this isn't going to fix that problem, but it's just kind of an example of how annoying Bluetooth can be.
Right, right. And it's why, for me, my Bluetooth headphones, really, I don't really ever use them with anything but my phone, because it's just too much trouble to use them with my Mac or my iPad or anything like that. So I'm looking forward to that alone. The battery life is good, not great. I mean, I think it's rated at 5 hours. The Backbeat, the Backbeat Fit from Plantronic that I use, I think is more like 7 or 8 hours. But they have the wire in between, which includes some of the battery. But the case itself has 25 hours. So, once you go get wherever you're going, you just drop them in the case. It charges them up. I think even with a very short amount of time in the case, it does kind of rapid charging. So you get a few hours after only like 5 or 15 minutes or something like that. I don't recall exactly, but I think that
I think it was 15-minute charge will give you something like 2 hours. So that's, for most people, that's probably enough, even if it's just for a commute home or, to work or something like that.
Right. And from at least a few of the reviews I've seen, they seem to stay in, which I tend to get, because I don't think people realize just how much drag the wires cause when you have headphones in. Just the weight of the wire alone, let alone, brushing it and doing other things that kind of slowly tug ear pods out of your ears. So I'm hopeful that those things will stay in, and I'll be able to go out for a run with them and things like that.
Yeah, I think I use the the normal AirPods every now and again. Like if it's raining, I don't want to use my expensive headphones. And I know that I'm lucky that they don't fall out of my ears, because they're kind of this one size fits all, and
right, it doesn't work.
Honestly, they probably don't fit a lot of people.
Right.
But I just happen to be lucky that they do fit my ears quite well. I only really listen to podcasts on my phone, so the sound quality, it doesn't really concern me too much that they're probably not, the best sound quality.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I really think I think probably somebody said this in one of their reviews. Maybe it was Matthew Panzerino said, like, if the earpods don't work for you, you know, whether it's fit or, you know, the sound or whatever, then the AirPods probably not going to be any good for you either.
Right. Yeah, that seems right to me. I've actually used earpods more often lately than I used to. I you know, it's been a while now since they redesigned the shape of them, and I never really the old version they had before that I didn't like. They were uncomfortable in my ears and they didn't stay in, and so I never really gave the earpods much of a chance until recently when I use them mostly as a backup if my Bluetooth headphones do run out of juice, which I'll say it has only ever happened to me a handful of times. I mean, what I do is I keep them charged on either end of my destination. So when I get to work, usually mine will last for a couple of days of commuting. Then I'll plug them in. The battery on them now that they're about a year old is not quite what it used to be, so I have to do it a little more frequently than I used to. But I just charge them either at home or at work, back and forth, and that doesn't seem to be that's not too much of a hassle. But it'd be different, I guess, if you were doing more flights and travel that way, where you don't necessarily have kind of a dedicated setup on either end. But I do like the earpods more than I used to, and have been using them and. I don't know. I think I'm going to give them a try. They're not even on sale yet, though, right?
No, I don't think they're available till, I think it says maybe early October or something like that. So we've got a few weeks left, a few weeks yet before they're even available.
Yeah, I wish they do pre-order. I did. Did you buy anything on the big launch day of the iPhone 7?
No, I didn't. The prices in the UK just kind of put me off a bit, and because it was probably about £100 more than I was expecting it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, it kind of just made me rethink, like, do I really need a new phone, or am I happy with my 6 for now?
Right.
So I'm going to keep it for now. Jess has ordered one. She ordered the 7 Plus 128 gig. Unfortunately, it didn't come Friday. It's coming on Tuesday or Wednesday now.
Did you get up in the middle of the night to order it? Well, not middle.
It
wasn't. I guess not at 8 a.m. I mean,
no, we're British, John. It's very civilized for us. It's just first thing in the morning, cup of tea, some toast, and we can just order them, and then we can go off to work.
Little marmalade.
Exactly.
That is civilized. I ordered a phone, but I could not bring myself to get up at 2 a.m. because I had been writing until 11 p.m. and was getting up at 4 to finish an article. And I thought, 5 hours of sleep isn't that great. How about I not break that up into 2 chunks of 2 hours or 2.5 hours? So I didn't do it until the first thing in the morning. So mine's not coming until the first week of October, like October 4th, something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I went Plus Club again, of course. I mean, that's kind of goes without saying. And matte black.
Very nice. So there was one thing, I'd completely forgotten this was even a feature of iOS 10. But Apple Pay in Safari, and I think this is coming to Sierra as well. I went to back a Kickstarter, and there was an Apple Pay button there. I wasn't in the Kickstarter app, I was just on the website. And yeah, just pressed the button, scanned my fingerprint, all done. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, actually, I'm writing an article about it for Tuesday on Mac Stories with the launch of Sierra, because it is coming to Sierra. And I was watching the WWC video yesterday afternoon, as you do for fun on a Saturday afternoon. And it's pretty neat how they've got it set up. I mean, it's pretty simple JSON API that lets people actually put the pay buttons. You can put them at the point of sale, like on the product page, or you can do them in checkout, or you can do them in both. And what's nice is the idea is, I guess, because Apple Pay is really just putting your thumb or your finger on the Touch ID sensor. If you put it on the product page, someone sees something they want, they can just click on it and do the Apple Pay and buy it right there without going through any kind of cart or shopping checkout type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this Kickstarter thing was a good example. Like, I clicked a link from Twitter. I saw it. Obviously, I was logged into Kickstarter on the website, but I don't let them store my credit card details.
Right.
Just because I don't really. I let Amazon get away with it just because it would be far too inconvenient not to. But I try not to keep my card details in anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, Kickstarter
so-
Kickstarter got hacked a few years ago too. If you recall.
I-
So I'm the same way. I have a long memory of who's been hacked and who has not, and they have.
Yeah, so if I hadn't been able to use Apple Pay there, I probably would have saved the page to Instapaper, gone and looked at it later. Maybe I wouldn't have got round to it. Maybe I wouldn't have bothered backing it. But because it was Apple Pay, like, it was just so easy. As you say, I just scan my fingerprint and I'm done.
Yeah, and it's neat the way it works on Sierra, because obviously you don't have a Touch ID sensor in your computer. So what it does is it can do a check to see if there is an Apple Watch or an iPhone associated with that account, that Apple Pay account, because it's doing all this through iCloud, so it knows who you are, and it looks and sees if those things are authorized for Apple Pay, and if it is, then all you have to do is press the button on your watch or put your finger on your phone, and it'll complete the transaction, even if you're on in Safari for OS 10.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it should be pretty cool. I mean, there's really not much to it more than that. I mean, that's I was thinking this was going to be a long, involved article, but there's not. They've made it so simple that there's not too much to talk about beyond what I just said.
Yeah, and if you're using, if sites are using Stripe for their payments, Stripe have Apple Pay support now, and I think you can just enable it.
Yep.
In the back end, and it will. I guess it will just offer it up as an option, if it's available. So, hopefully a lot of these places that are using Stripe already, because it's a fairly big payment system, will enable Apple Pay.
Yeah, they've got a few partners. I know that they've got Shopify is another one. I think Squarespace is going to be doing it for their e-commerce solution. So the nice thing about that too is if you're someone who has something to sell, is that you can they kind of handle the back end part of it, because in order to use Apple Pay as a merchant, you have to have a developer account and some certificates and all that sort of stuff. Which it's not super complicated what you have to do, but it's signing up for a bunch of stuff and getting a bunch of encryption keys and that sort of thing that validate you as a merchant and as the owner of a particular website. But if you use something like Shopify or Stripe, a lot of those companies will have an SDK of their own that interfaces with the checkout process and the store process, and they will handle all that stuff for you. So it becomes very simple to set up something with Apple Pay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it in more places. So talking of Bluetooth, buying things, I ordered Amazon Echo.
Yeah, how hard did Jess roll her eyes when she heard you ordered that? Or did she not know?
It took a while because she didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I then had to explain what it was, and then she rolled her eyes.
I bought a black tube that we can talk to.
Yeah, so I guess it got released. I think it was UK and Germany. UK is completely open orders. Germany, I think, is still invite only.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and they were doing £50 off for Prime members until Friday, I think. So instead of 150, it was just 100. So the way I figured it, if I don't like it, I can probably just sell it for 100 again once I've finished with it.
Right. That's a good deal. 100. I thought they were more like 170 in the US, something like that. Even with Prime, but maybe they had a discount at some point. I don't remember.
Yeah, possibly. So they've also got the Dot,
yep,
which is basically an Amazon Echo, but you hook it up to your own speakers. As far as I can tell, the price has gone down on those. I think they were about $100 before, and they're now $50.
Yeah, they're $50 in the US.
Also £50 in the UK now.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm going to do with it.
You got a Dot too?
No, I didn't get a Dot.
Oh, okay.
No,
just got the main thing. Okay.
I couldn't decide, should I just get the big thing or should I get the Dot, because I've got speakers, but I thought, no, forget it. I'll just get the full blown thing.
Right.
I don't have to worry about a second speaker or anything then. Yeah, I've kind of written a list of a couple of things, like, you can play music from Prime Music, because I don't have Spotify, so I can't do that. I guess I can add things to a shopping list. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, you can order more bags of cat food right from your Echo.
Yeah, I suppose I could do that. I know you can like order an Uber, which I could, kind of see me just shouting at it and just be like, just order me an Uber, get it done. There's probably a few things.
You get the weather.
As I say, yeah, the weather. Save me from looking outside and using my eyes like a chump.
Yeah, exactly. That's so old-fashioned, Rob.
Oh, exactly. Like I say though, I'll see if I enjoy it, and if I actually get any use out of it. Worst case, it's still a Bluetooth speaker.
Right.
I can still just use it as a speaker.
Right. No, there's a lot more integrations that are coming all the time. I mean, people have done some interesting things with them. I know. I think it has IFTTT support too.
Yeah, it does. I'm not sure what I would put on the other end of the IFTTT support.
Maybe
but I'm sure I could come up with some things.
Maybe you could have like a service checking your website, and if your website is down, Alexa just starts shouting at you.
That would be good.
Or there'd be a big alarm sounds and annoys everybody until you go fix the website.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I
don't know. You don't have one, right?
No, I don't. I've come close a couple of times, and I really was frankly waiting to see if Apple did anything at one point, and then the moment kind of passed, and I don't really know what I would use it for. And I think I would probably be the only person in my family who would actually use it. So I haven't really gone that direction. Part of it is too the way my house is laid out. I mean, when everybody's in bed on the first floor, the kitchen, living family room type area is all kind of open in one area. So we have an Apple TV hooked up to a stereo system and TV there, and so that pretty much handles entertainment and everything for the entire first floor all at once. So there's not a real need to have like different speakers in different rooms. I don't live in like one of these mansions that has different rooms for different activities and needs a Sonos in every room or something like that. So no, so that's part of it, I think, too, is that I just don't need more than what I've already got.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of just got caught up in the fact that they were giving me £50 off. I think I've got to wait another like maybe 10 days or 2 weeks until it comes out, until it actually gets delivered. So I'll give it a go. I've been interested in it for a while, but I wasn't willing to pay the prices that they were being sold for on eBay in the UK.
Yeah, Amazon's good about enticing you into things like that, and I think $100 or £100 is a good price point below which you to experiment with new gadgets and stuff. I mean, I definitely for $100 would have bought an Echo, I think, just to see what it's all about and try it out and put it somewhere in the house. I actually meant to mention this to you on the last show that I forgot about it. I had a similar experience. I bought one of those, I bought a dash button, but I bought a generic programmable dash button.
Oh, so this is their Internet of Things button, right?
Yeah, it's the same button. It just doesn't have a sticker for cat food on it or something. And
sure.
And there's an API, and I have not even had time to look at it. But I figured this is a good winter project. I think it was $20. And so one day a package shows up, and my wife opens it up, and she said, "You got a button in the mail." It's like, yes, I did. Good, my button has arrived. So I have this button, and she asked me what I could do with it, and I said, well, I mean, we could put it by the back door and press it when we leave, and the thermostat would automatically adjust. And her response was, or we could just go do that. So,
sure,
which is true. Fair point.
I know that conversation.
It's true. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I'll probably figure it out at some point in the next couple of months. I just haven't had time to really deal with it. But I saw them on. They've been a lot of people have been buying them, and they've been sold out from time to time. So I was actually able to find them on Amazon and order one, which was kind of cool.
Great. So do you want to? Should we talk about PubHack?
Yeah, we should. We should.
Friday.
Yes. As I knew what you were doing, even though I was playing dumb on Twitter. And part of it was knowing that you were going to be locked inside a pub for, I don't know, what was it, like 12 hours plus?
Yeah.
I figured I'm going to have some fun with Rob because he's probably going to be there drinking.
Yep.
So I gave you a little bit of a hard time, although I didn't. I could have gone a lot further, believe me. But you did PubHack, which I know you've done at least 3 or 4 times now.
This is the 5th one.
Oh
now.
Wow! So have you done them all?
We're the only team that's been to every one and has all the original members.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
Well, tell me about your team for starters, and what is PubHack? I know we talked about this like maybe 6 months ago, but it's pretty cool. I wish I were doing something like this.
Yeah, so it's, we go to a pub, and we get given a theme. This time was heroes and villains was the theme. And then it's just go build something for the next 8 hours, or 10 hours, present it at the end of the day. And then the judges will pick winners for various different categories. So yeah, I mean that's the kind of the base of it.
Yeah, and you've got a group called Devs Do Design, right?
That's right. Yeah, this was. I don't really remember how this came about. The actual name. I think it had been a joke because like me and a couple of the other devs had been like trying to design something and it was terrible.
Yeah.
But kind of the name stuck, and so yeah, we've got a team of 3 developers and 1 designer. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. We built sort of a game, I guess a pseudo game, because you can't really lose at it. The phrase we were using on the day, it's more of an experience than it is a game. If nothing else, because none of us have ever built a game before, so we had no idea what we were doing.
Sure.
So yeah, we built a. It's called Trump, but with dots between each of the letters because there's no actual acronym. Didn't come up with
I was
one.
wondering about that. That would be very hard to come up with one.
Yeah. So basically, there's some events on a map. You click on each event and you knock down a wall that Trump has built. You can shout at a rally to get people to leave. And then you can catch his Snapchats have leaked, and you can catch them to retweet them on Twitter or something. Now I'm saying it out loud; it sounds ridiculous.
Well, I suppose it's meant to be ridiculous, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, is everybody designing? They're all web apps that people are designing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's been a couple of times there was some video guys that came and had a team and they did like a video. That was a few pub hacks back. But yeah, in general, most people are building either web apps or mobile apps.
Okay. So you're not really limited by like the medium you're working in.
No, not at all. It's pretty much open to anybody who wants to come. If you're a creative person at all, as I say, the video. Nobody would object if you wanted to, do, I don't know, interpretive dance. I don't think anyone would stop you. So nobody's done that yet.
Is it always at the same pub every year?
No, so it's been at 2 different pubs, and then this year was actually it's I guess it's just a space that you rent out that people can rent out. But it's got a bar and they had a DJ and for playing music and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It was as close to a pub as it needed to be. There's tables and a bar. That was all we were interested in, really.
Right. So are the guys you do this with, were they people from, from university or some other thing? Yeah,
so we knew each other from university, and we all used to work together at the company I work for now. Mm-hmm. But 2 of the guys have now moved on. One's freelance, one moved to London. So 2 of us are still at my work. But we get together for this because this is our team.
Yes.
And we needed our 4th trophy because now each one of us has got a trophy at our house.
Oh, well, I was going to say you did win. You won a major award. What was your major award this year?
We won the Audience Choice Award.
Oh, nice.
So like once all the presentations are done, they hand out voting slips, and we all vote for which one we liked the best and stuff like that. So yeah, we won that category this year. Oh,
nice.
So yeah, it's good fun.
You gonna keep doing it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Jo, who organises it, like she works so hard to try and get this done. I mean, this was basically 3 full days of her working like all day just to get this, done. So it'll probably be another 6 months or a year before the next one. But yeah, there's no reason we won't do another one.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any sense for how many people participate?
I think there was 10 teams this year.
Mm-hmm. And they're
teams generally have 4 people in.
That's a lot of people. That's a fair number of people.
Yeah, it's definitely grown. I mean, the first one, I think there was maybe 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
This was like 3 years ago now. You know, and it's just kind of grown from there. I think at this point, like, the only way we could get more people is if we could find a bigger venue.
Right.
It's kind of hard, especially in Portsmouth, to find anywhere bigger.
Right. And one of the things that happens when you try to do that sort of thing is then it's like, well, can you really afford to rent out a bar on a Friday when, you know, otherwise they'd be making a ton of money from people coming after work. So you end up having it on like a Tuesday, and then, you know what I mean? Things like that become impediments.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's why this studio place that we were in this time was really good, because, you know, it was just us.
Right.
Whereas, you know, in previous years, like, as the day goes on, obviously just normal people come into the pub for drinks and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, it was good fun. Our project is up, and you can watch the promo video that I did, and you can actually, you know, go through the game and just see what it is that we built.
Yeah, I actually had not seen your link to what you made yet, so I'll have to check it out myself. Put that in the show notes, as well as a link to your YouTube video, which shows off your mad keynote skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's kind of become just a joke at this point. Like, our presentations are always like, it's always mostly about the video and then just the silly little thing at the end that we've actually built.
Right. Well, we have one other thing we were going to talk about, which is a little bit about the Messages app, which I have been hip deep in for, I don't know, like 2 weeks now, to the point of where I thought I was going to lose my mind a few days ago. And I thought we would talk a little bit about what we think about Messages and all of the new features that are in iOS 10.
Yeah, so let me start. I mean, because I think I'm kind of known for being a bit grumpy about this kind of stuff, but I do like stickers.
Good.
I can see, and the reactions to a message as well, where you can put haha and stuff like that. I like that. I can totally see the value in stickers and reacting and you know, putting a sticker on top of photos, things like that. I can see how that's kind of fun and interesting, and like makes Messages a much more full-featured messaging app, you know, when you compare it to something like WhatsApp or Telegram, places like that. Beyond the stickers, I do not know why I want proper apps in my Messages app. I find it really kind of, everything in the UI, in the interface, just seems a bit kind of dumped together and kind of quite confusing. I've got maybe like 10 different apps in there now, and even that is a bit of a pain to, like, you know, scroll through them all or pick them from the, you know, the little app picker. So yeah, I found myself getting a bit frustrated with it, just because of the interface, really.
Yeah, the UI has a lot to be desired. I mean, when I was testing this stuff for the Roundup article that I did on Mac Stories of stickers and iMessage apps, I had at the time, and I've removed some of these, but I had about 50 different things installed on my phone, and those little dots at the bottom have completely overflowed left and right, which to me is, it's hard to imagine how that got through, because I think that that's something that ought to have been anticipated. But that's really just kind of a, you know, an aesthetic thing. What's difficult is once you get past about 30 or so apps or sticker packs in Messages, you start seeing weird performance stuff. A lot of times that little, you know, when you to get to the icon, there's a little the little caret or little chevron button on the left side of the text field. When you text, you know, you tap that, and then you can get into Photos, Digital Touch, or the apps. And oftentimes for me, that just stops working altogether, which is kind of a pain. Yesterday, I had a new bug show up where everything was working fine on my iPad except for iMessages apps. So stickers were fine, messaging was fine, and it was driving me crazy, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And a reboot solved it, but seeing definitely some issues there as well. And my phone has gotten extremely hot and the battery drains very quickly. Now, again, I'm like a huge outlier when it comes to this stuff because I was testing so many of these, and when I was writing that article, I literally had to sit down at a table with my phone plugged in the whole time because I was going through and trying different. I was, bouncing between apps and sticker packs all day long, trying them, screenshotting them, uploading them to a server, grabbing a link, dropping it in a text file. I was really stressing out my 6S Plus, but I don't know. It's all that said, I've had a lot of fun with these, and I like them a lot. I think there's a lot of cool stuff here. I think the stickers are a huge opportunity for developers, both to make money and to market their apps if they add stickers to existing applications. And the apps themselves, I mean, it's early days. A lot of these things are pretty rudimentary and basic, but I think they're going to take off as well at some point. I mean, there's some for doing polls with groups of friends. That one's pretty cool. Copied and Drafts both have apps now, and Copied is really nice to have because you basically have access to everything that's in your pasteboard library from that app. There's even an app called Email, which is not very well named, I think, but it's a pretty good email app that exists on iOS that lets you search emails from within iMessages, which is a little odd, except that if you're talking to someone and need to refer back to an email, it's a handy way to grab the email. So I think I'm going to install that just so I can have it available when I'm talking to people about email.
Yeah, I can see that, but I think it's going to take a few months to really balance out what is useful in messages and what is just kind of just jumping on the bandwagon of this being a new feature. Like, if you're the kind of person that does need to refer to emails a lot when you're in messages, then that's going to be pretty useful to you,
right?
I mean, and as you say, like Drafts, if you use that a lot and you've got stuff in there, I can see it. But I think the biggest problem for me is that none of this works on the Mac.
Oh yeah, it's worse than that. It looks terrible, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it looks awful because you just get these huge, like if I put like a Mario hat on a photo that you send me, I just get a huge Mario hat on the Mac.
Yeah,
and that's fine. I guess I'm not the target audience, but I'm at my Mac like 8 hours a day, and then in the evening it's still my primary computer, and I just can't use any of this stuff. And actually, stickers are making messages on the Mac unbearable. Like if I go to our messages thread on my Mac, and we haven't sent too many, but like the whole screen is just filled up with these images.
Right. No, I've definitely I've been hesitant to send you stickers because of that very problem. I'm sending you stickers right now, Rob, just so you know.
Perfect. Thanks.
I'm testing out the features. I really am. But there's a couple of things. One is like on the Mac too. What'll happen is like if it's not, it's actually a little worse even, because if you have a let's say I scroll up and want to leave a sticker on something that you that you said, I don't know, 5 comments before. On the Mac, that'll still show up that sticker will still show at the bottom of the list, and there's no way to know what it's referring to. So it gets really confusing on the Mac. And then when you're in the app drawer in Messages and looking at your apps, if you they don't sync across iOS devices, so you have to download them in 2 places if you have an iPad and an iPhone. And then if you delete, at least on iOS, if you have multiple pages of apps and you delete one on, say, page 2 of 5, the next app you download is going to show up in the empty slot on page 2. But on Messages, it doesn't do that. It always adds to the very end of the very last page, which there's just no good way then to kind of organize those things.
Yeah, that's pretty. It just feels very. It feels rushed. It feels jammed into the Messages app, and just the complete lack of support on the Mac is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very beta in a lot of ways. I could keep going. because I've been using this thing so much. What was I going to say? There was when you move things around. Oh yeah, I know what it is. There are two things. If you go into the stickers and apps in Messages and you swipe through, the order that you see them is based on the one you most recently used.
Sure.
But if you go into the icons using the little button on the bottom, then it's according to whatever order you set them up in, which is not obvious at all in the interface. There's no, I mean, think about that. I suppose it's a little bit like when you double tap the home button on a phone, you're going to see your apps in the order that they're most recently used. But because you're not really doing that same kind of interaction, it just seems, it seems to be like a disconnect between the two views of apps. Yeah,
I don't know. As I say, I think the biggest thing for me is I just like some basic support on the Mac. I could live with not sending them, not having access to the apps on the Mac, but just these stickers, at least show the stickers where they should be.
Right.
So I think I've said this to you, but like as of right now, I'm mostly not going to be using stickers, unless you happen, you or somebody else happens to message me while I'm not at my Mac. It's very unlikely you're going to get a response from me with stickers.
Yeah, well, it's driven me away from Messages on the Mac. It really has, because I think that weekend when Federico was finishing his iOS 10 review and I was ramping up, doing this roundup of stickers and messaging apps, we probably sent each other 400 or 500 stickers over the weekend. Over a long weekend. I mean, and you open that up on a Mac and it's just a complete and utter disaster. I'm amazed that I even got it to open. Plus, I'll tell you, my if you look in storage, my Messages app is ballooned in terms of the amount of storage it's taking.
Yeah, I bet.
Turn-based games are pretty good too. I mean, getting back to the positives, there's something called Pigeon Games. Have you seen that one?
I think I might have seen that mentioned somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got a handful of games. You can play poker or pool or a version of Battleship. I mean, simple games, but they're actually, I was impressed with how much they're doing in terms of, the graphics and the interaction in pool. And you line up your shot, you pull back a pool cue and you let it go and it animates. It's pretty impressive for something that's as memories constrained as iMessage apps are.
Yeah, I can definitely see the value for these turn-based games. I think Words with Friends has got one. I've heard it's not very good, but as an example, like, otherwise you end up in this situation where you've got to like create like a Words with Friends account and then like add your friend or find their username. I know kind of Game Center went a little bit towards that, but I think having it in Messages just, that's where people are already messaging their friends.
Right.
So if you can start a game from there, and the game is just in Messages, then that works really well.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of my other favorites are like GIF wrapped, because it's nice not to have to leave iMessage when you want to send somebody a GIF, and that one works really well. I don't know. Let's see. I guess stickers wise, I like Sticker Pals, which is David Lanham animations, and they've got hundreds that are free, and you can do add-ons with in-app purchase. ETA for just figuring out when you're going to arrive somewhere works super well. That's a fun one. There are a couple of to-do apps which are good for interactive grocery lists and so forth. Like On the List is a good one, and Do With Me. Those are both, they do similar things. Annotate is another good sticker pack. I like all those.
Sure. So I'll put a link in the show notes to your stickers roundup. And I know that like Mac Stories have been doing some different coverage of different apps and things like that. So there's a lot out there. I'm amazed how much has come out, since iOS 10's release for Messages.
No, it is. It's amazing to me. And I think one reason is because, especially with the stickers, if I send you a sticker and you don't have it, there's a link right there for you to download it in the store. So it has the ability to, spread kind of with a network effect virally through a group of friends. And if you're someone that has an app already on the store, just adding stickers to it, especially if you have a free app that has maybe in-app purchase or subscriptions or something to generate revenue. There will be people, I suspect, who will download your app just for the stickers, even if they don't care about the app, which, it seems a little weird, I guess, that you're marketing to people who don't care about your app. On the other hand, they may send the stickers to someone who would find your app useful. So it's a way to kind of spread the word through another channel about an app you might make. I mean, I've already seen that with Slopes, which is Curtis Herbert's app. It is, for tracking skiing and snowboarding, and he added a bunch of skiing themed stickers to his app, which I think was a smart move. And Periscope has even done, they've added the hearts that you can tap out while you're watching a video. They've added stickers that are just those animating hearts.
Sure. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think, over the next few months to see what happens. I think we should probably draw the line there, because I imagine we could, well, especially you, because you've looked at all the sticker apps. I'm sure we could end up going for hours.
I will continue to look at them. I get a lot of them in my email now, and we are featuring them in the Club Mac Stories Weekly now. I think we'll be doing it most every week. We'll be doing a roundup of some of the silly sticker packs that we find.
That's probably a good idea. I'll let you deal with the curation, and then I don't have to go to the App Store.
Exactly.
Cool. Shall we wrap it up for this week then?
Yeah, sounds good. Perfect.
So you can find the show notes at ruminatepodcast.com/29, not 28. That's not how numbers work. I am on Twitter at RMLewisUK, and John is on Twitter at John Voorhees, JOHNVOORHEES.
That's right. All right, thanks,
Perfect.
Rob.
And I'll speak to you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, talk to you later.